First Chronicles. In a world searching for meaning, few texts have shaped history, hearts, and human identity like the Bible. But beyond the verses and chapters lies a story, ancient, eternal, and alive. Welcome to Speed Reads, where we journey book by book through Scripture, not in fragments, but as sweeping narratives rich with depth, drama, and divine design. Whether you're rediscovering these sacred texts or exploring them for the first time, each episode brings you closer to the heartbeat of the Bible, one book at a time. 4 Chronicles is not just a historical retelling, it's a spiritual reconstruction. Written after the exile, likely by the same chronicler who penned Ezra and Nehemiah, this book retells Israel's story from Adam to David, not simply to recount facts, but to restore identity, rekindle hope, and recenter the people on God's covenant with David and the importance of temple worship. This isn't history for history's sake. This is holy history, designed to remind the returned exiles who they are, whose they are, and where their future lies. The book opens with a vast and sweeping genealogy, 9 chapters long, from Adam to Noah, from Abraham to Israel, from Judah to David. The chronicler traces the line of promise. These genealogies aren't just lists, they're theological maps, emphasizing Judah and the line of David, the tribe of Levi and the priesthood, and the return of exiled families who must reclaim their inheritance. These names anchor the post-exilic Jews to their sacred past and affirm that God's promises have not been lost in Babylon. They were scattered, yes, but never forgotten. After grounding the reader in lineage, David emerges as the central figure, not merely as a warrior king, but as the spiritual architect of Israel's worship. Unlike the account in Samuel and Kings, here the chronicler omits David's sins, his adultery with Bathsheba, the murder of Uriah, and the family fallout. Instead, the focus is David's heart for God, his devotion to the ark, the temple, and the worship of Yahweh. This isn't a cover-up, but a reframing. In the chronicler's theological lens, David is the model king because of his passion for God's presence. David's military victories are recounted, but briefly. The bulk of the narrative is focused on how David brought the Ark of the Covenant to Jerusalem with reverence and rejoicing. There's attention to Levitical duties, musicians, and priests, revealing the deep organization and reverence David brought to worship. David's joy at restoring the ark reflects his conviction that God must be at the center of Israel's life, and it sets the stage for the temple which he longs to build. But God tells David that he will not build the temple because he is a man of war. Still, David does not sulk. Instead, he dedicates the rest of his reign to preparing everything Solomon will need to build it. He gathers gold, silver, bronze, cedar, iron, and precious stones. He designs the temple's layout, assigns duties to the priests and Levites, appoints musicians, and organizes gatekeepers. This isn't just administration, it's visionary spiritual leadership. David's dream is to see a permanent house for the Lord in Jerusalem, and he gives his whole heart to ensuring that dream will come true, even if it's completed after his death. One of the most beautiful moments in 1 Chronicles is David's final assembly before the people. In a moving scene, he gathers the nation, acknowledges Solomon's youth and inexperience, and commissions him publicly. He charges his son to be strong, courageous, and faithful. "The Lord will be with you," David declares. "He will not fail you." The people respond with overwhelming generosity, donating resources for the temple with joyful hearts. David's final public prayer is one of humility and gratitude, exalting God as the true source of wealth, power, and victory. "Who am I and who are my people," he prays, "that we should be able to give as generously as this?" Unlike the politically complex transitions of kingship found in 1 and 2 Samuel, here the transfer of power to Solomon is peaceful, God-ordained, and celebratory. Solomon is anointed, the people rejoice, and David dies full of days, riches, and honor. 4 Chronicles ends not with disarray, but with unity and purpose. The chronicler isn't just telling what happened, he's proclaiming what matters. David's life is remembered not for his personal failures, but for his unwavering commitment to God's presence, God's worship, and God's covenant. The message to the post-exilic Jews is clear. Though the monarchy failed and exile came, the covenant with David remains. The temple matters, worship matters, and God's faithfulness transcends kings and kingdoms. If the people will center their lives around God's presence once more, the future is not lost. It is waiting to be rebuilt. Thank you for joining this deep dive into the living story of Scripture. As we move through each book, remember these ancient words are not just history, they're mirrors, windows, and signposts pointing us to something greater. If this journey stirred something in you, subscribe to Speed Reads and walk with us through every chapter of God's unfolding masterpiece. Until next time, stay curious, stay grounded, and keep reading the Word slowly or quickly.